found an electronic. We have to hide things from our children, electronics. So I just was rummaging, looking for my funnels, and found one of my children's electronics. If you limit screen time for your kiddos, do you have to hide your electronics? We don't have to hide them for all the kids. Like 1 out of 5, basically. Hi friends, welcome to my kitchen. I am restocking, we are restocking a variety of things. Right now, rotini, and I've got some left over, but I'm gonna dump this into something else and then refill. How's it going? How is your, what day is it, Tuesday? We started homeschool officially yesterday, but book work started today. Hello, Tammy. Good evening. Hi. Shervin. Every time I see your name, what do I call you? And I know this because we've probably emailed about it or chatted about it before, but what is your first name? I always want to call you Sherry or Shervin. Is it Shervin? Just had dinner and you're cleaning too. We haven't had dinner yet. It's 3 o'clock. Aaron took 4 out of 5 kids to town because 2 out of 5 have mountain biking practice. And then one of them, he's a little bit, well, he's my child that wanted to stay home a day last week. And then he said, Mom, is this what it's like to be an only child? And I said, yeah, isn't it great? He's like, no, this is so boring. So anyways, he decided he wanted to stay home again. So he's here today. He's back in his room practicing guitar and listening to music. So Sherry, that's right. I know that, Sherry. I don't know why it throws me off every time I see Shervin. I'm like, you're not Shervin. You're Sherry. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so I've got, this is rotini. I'm going to go ahead and add it. These are, honey comes in these. Come on, Katie, words are hard. Honey comes in these jugs. Ooh, the echo. And I warm the plastic with hot water once it's empty, once there's no more honey in it. I warm and I peel off the label. And then I just wash them really good. And then we use them for pastas and things like that. But I'm gonna refill my pantry jar or my shelf jar with what's in here. It's rotation, you guys. First in, first out. FIFO. So when you're restocking your pantry, and I apologize if my light's a little dim. We moved to this new house and I have not accommodated the lighting. Does that even make sense? For this home for YouTube for filming. So I apologize if it's a little dim, but the clouds keep going behind as well. So FIFO, first in, first out. They do that in grocery stores so that everything stays fresh, first in, first out. And you want to do that if you're doing the bulk thing in your home, if you're saving money, because let's be honest, grocery prices are insane right now. And I started buying bulk for my family about 5 years ago, I would say. And it saved us a lot of money in the long run, buying things in bulk. Plus, we always have what we need if there's a job loss or an illness or one of us can't work as much as we normally do. Like I haven't been able to work as much in the last 6 months as I normally do. So that income has taken a hit. Aaron's picked up the slack, but before he started working, he wasn't working. So he retired from the military and then we had, what was it? He was in school, he finished up his degree. We had 2 years where we had income, but we didn't have, you know, normal income, I guess. He didn't have a job. So he was doing the school thing and all of that stuff. So during that time, I was so happy that we had stocked up on bulk foods because I was able to supplement our grocery bill with things like the pasta that I had stocked up 2 years prior to all of that happening. So this is rotini, and I don't know, it looks different. The noodles are slightly more, well, they're different than the last time I got rotini noodles. I don't know if their pasta machine broke at Azure, but the new noodles, I'll show you a difference. And maybe I just ordered the wrong ones, but the new noodles look different. And this is actually a more expensive pasta because of the addition of tomato powder and spinach powder. But tomato powder and spinach powder in our pasta helps my kids get some more nutrients. So if you're gonna invest in bulk stuff, try to do multi-purpose things that do have a little bit, like the pasta that has a little bit of vegetables in it. So it's expensive. This was a 10-pound bag, and this is 10 pounds is massive. I don't know if I got 5 pounds last time or 10 pounds. I might have gotten 10 pounds. But it's a massive, massive bag, and this is the max that I'm allowed to lift. I had back surgery. If you guys are new here, I had back surgery 4 weeks ago. I'm not supposed to be lifting stuff, and I keep forgetting. But I can tell when I'm getting to the max. So what we're doing is FIFO, first in, first out. So this pantry jar is the jar we're going to use first. And then these jars are going to go into, or these plastic bins. And don't get on my case about using plastic for long-term food storage. It's okay. This is pasta. It's going to be fine. These are lightweight, and when we were going through the move and everything, I really tried to minimize all of my storage and my weight, the weight that we were moving, because the military was doing our final move and we had to stay within a certain weight, and I got rid of a ton of jars and a ton of things. So I'm kind of working with what I got here. And these are actually great to repurpose. So if you're going to repurpose something, these honey, well, a variety of things come in these plastic jugs from, these gallon jugs from Azure. But honey's the one that I clean out and reuse. Because we go through about 2 or 3, maybe 4 gallons of honey a year, honestly. We go through a lot of honey. Quite a bit of honey. Let me catch up. Hello from South Dakota. Hi, Anne Marie. You were here the other night. Thanks for coming back. New here. Hi, Mike B. Wishing you a magical and inspiring day. Thank you, Kevin. That's very nice. Hello, Katie. You were here too the other night. Thanks for coming back and hanging out. Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear about your pup, that your puppy died. Oh, yeah. Good call. You're right, there is a chemical shelf life on certain things. Pastas do tend to have a longer shelf life, and it is wise to store them with oxygen absorbers. Keep it stored in a cool, dark, dry place, out of the light. If you can, use Mylar bags to store your pastas and things like that, but I'll be storing these in a cool, dark, dry pantry over winter, and I will make it a goal to use this up quicker. I actually recently discovered a new recipe that my family loves, and it involves a creamy tomato sauce and sausages and these noodles. So we've been eating that about once a week, and that's why I ordered more, because we've been eating a lot of that pasta. But hopefully it hasn't worn out its welcome. But pastas and things like egg pasta, things like that, they're great for not super long. I'm not talking about storing things for 10 years. Some things we store for 10 years. You know, we've got wheat berries, and our wheat berries, those are good. They found ancient wheat berries in an Egyptian tomb, and they were able to grow wheat from those wheat berries. So wheat berries are one thing that you can definitely store long term, to mill, to make flour, to make your bread, to make your cream of wheats, to bake all of your yummy goodies. And you can store wheat berries for a very long time if you store them correctly. So that's one thing we have a lot of is hard red wheat berries, hard white wheat berries, durum wheat to make pasta, but I haven't started making pasta yet. All right, guys, we are restocking my pantry if you were just joining us. I get a lot of my bulk organic and bulk grains, non-GMO, all that kind of good stuff. If you're a stickler about that and you want that kind of thing. I get a lot of it from Azure Standard. Oops. And they have, what Azure Standard is when you order from them, you pick up your haul from a drop location local to you all over the country. There's many. And if there's not one, you can start one. But recently, just recently, they started a delivery program. It's like a pilot program. So I don't know, I think we're one of the first locations to have that because we're kind of close to Azure Standard. Here where we're at in Oregon and up here in the Pacific Northwest. So I think they're starting with the deliveries that are closer just to see how it goes, and then they're going to branch out and offer it depending on the drop locations and the drop coordinators and if they're willing to offer delivery and that kind of thing. So it all just depends on your drop location. My drop location has a delivery, and that is amazing because I'm not driving very much yet, and I'm not moving heavy stuff yet. So they came and dropped everything off and at my door, and that was great. I didn't have to go and load it up at the drop location. So that's been really helpful for me. But again, it's not available everywhere with Azure Standard. You can get their stuff shipped to your house if you don't have a drop location, but shipping is expensive. That's why the drop location works out best. And you can meet people from your community, like-minded people from your community that, you know, also people that like to prep and be prepared, and they might have farms, or they might have, you'll just meet different people from your community. They might be homeschool families or large families or church families or whatever, a variety of people. They might be people that live in the mountains and they just buy their bulk salmon from Azure once a month. That was one lady that I met years ago at one of the drops. She was an older lady that got all of her wild caught salmon from Azure Standard, and she was doing her once a month pickup of that. And it's just really fun to go and meet people. But our drop location at this, where we live now, is a little bit different. Oh, you want me to explain homeschooling to you? Okay, you want me to explain how I do homeschooling? And let me get you some examples of what we did today, real quick, because I know that's something people are very curious about. Okay. These will just be some really quick, sorry, my husband was texting me, really quick examples. All right. This is, we don't have a fourth grader right now, but this is the fourth grade science, and it's Discover Science. It comes with an instructor manual, all that kind of stuff. And I like this particular type because it has all of the text, all of the learning information, and then it has the workbook portion where you do the workbook, you answer questions and stuff like that. So it's all in there. And then this is the B. So it comes with like a part A for the first part of the year, and then a part B for the second part of the year. Things like writing and spelling, you can do this kind of stuff, and it teaches you all about consonant chunks and vowel chunks and bossy R chunks. This was a fourth grade writing program. It also incorporates American Spirit and a bunch of history into this particular spelling you see. They have all different grade levels, all different writing levels, all kinds of stuff. So that's a really good, I mean, there's so many things. We're also doing, I had some leftover curriculum from, I've been homeschooling for going on 8 years minus like a year in there somewhere where we did briefly stick them in school. Anyways, I had some leftover The Good and Beautiful curriculum. This is a Mormon-based curriculum, and I found that out after the fact. I don't have a problem with that at all. So far, I haven't found anything like incredibly influential in this, but it is a Christian-based, not Christian, but Mormon-based curriculum, but it's really, really good. And I'm using this right now with my second grader. And so basically what a day looks like for us, we do all of our homeschool in the mornings so that we can spend the rest of the day doing all the things we want to do. Our heart pursuits, you know, playing guitar, art, crafting, baking, cooking, archery, hunting, time in the wilderness, going on walks, plant identification, herbalist, learning remedies, all that kind of stuff in the afternoons, evenings. But book work for us gets done in the mornings, and max, it takes us until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. With my older kids, it can take anywhere. Today they started at 9:30, 9:45. We got a late start today. We're still kind of getting in the rhythm of, well, we just started the year, so we're still sleeping in. We're still summertime sleeping in a little bit. So it takes 2 to 4 hours for all of my kids to get their schoolwork done. I work with my second grader mostly, and then my 5th, 6th, and 7th grader are primarily independent. Of course, I do all their grading and all of the checking of their work, but I get them started and then they work independently. They have virtual classes on Mondays. So they go online on Mondays for math and writing. My older kids do. My second grader and preschooler, I work with them. My second grader is doing an online writing program. Then we have a community day once a week. So we go with a whole bunch of other homeschoolers, and I drop my kids off at a location and they spend the whole day with their peers. We also do field trips with those same people. We do outdoor school with those same people. We do all kinds of stuff. They have all kinds of community events for this homeschool program that we're a part of. So yeah, we get all of our schoolwork done in 2 to 4 hours every single day, and then we get the rest of the day to do whatever we want to. And we try to be productive with the rest of our days. I make sure that they're not just vegging out playing video games or anything like that. We have PE. Part of their PE is mountain biking. We do spring mountain biking, summer or fall mountain biking, of course, summertime. But wintertime, we haven't figured out PE yet. Out like at least a minimal hour outside every day playing. They got to go outside, run, jump, swing, hang from things, whatever, climb trees, swing sticks. They swing sticks a lot. And it's funny, I edited out of one of my recent videos. My daughter had the door open and she was yelling at my son. She's like, "Put my stick down. I don't want you to break my stick." And I mean, we live in the woods. There's sticks everywhere, guys, but they have their very special sticks. They're martial arts, LARPing. We're not LARPers, but we found out what LARPing is, and now we say our kids do LARPing because that's the only way we know how to describe it. But basically, they just go out there and they do like martial arts practice with their sticks, and it's fun. So they go and have fun doing that. And that's our homeschool, basically. So we are doing the core subjects. We do science, history, social studies, geography, whatever it is, civics, whatever they're in for their grade level. It's all named 100 different things, but I mean, history, I guess, history, geography. Anywho, science, we do science every year. And then, of course, the main focus is math, writing, reading. Those are very important subjects. We want to make sure that if they can read and write really well and intelligently, then the sky is the limit. So those are the most important things, reading and writing. Your children need to know how to read and write. I read a statistic recently that 70% of kids in high school don't know how to read and write at their grade level. They are at an elementary or not even able to read and write. So I thought that was crazy. I don't know how true that statistic is, but my kids are usually reading pretty well by second grade. They could probably start reading much sooner. I just don't really push it, especially if there's some resistance there. Some of my kids have been early readers, and some of my kids have, started reading around, well, they're reading in kindergarten and first grade, but I'm talking able to read multiple sentences by second grade. And so my daughter's starting second grade now, and today she read me a whole story. She's still a little bit intimidated, not as confident in her reading. So we're working through that just by exposure to reading, and me reading to her and her reading back to me and her reading on her own. Today, I had her read without me reading first, because normally I would read a story to her first so she could kind of get the gist of it, and then she would read the whole story back to me. But today, I did not read the story first. She read it all to me, and she even read a really big word, and I was just so proud of her because she read it by herself and didn't need my help. So it's so rewarding as a homeschooling parent, and I will say stressful, because I have been night sweating every night because of the stress of the daunting task of the children's education being all on my shoulders. It's really stressed me out, and I almost sent them to public school. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because I cannot imagine the hustle bustle of running 4 kids around to school and then having the extra one at home. But the hustle bustle of that, and then bringing home germs and being sick, and everybody passing around, like everybody always being sick. There will always be one sick child, I'm sure, if they were in school, because they just pass the germs around like that. And this helps when they go to their community day. Sometimes they'll all get sick, and they'll be sick for a day or two, and then it's over with. At least that's how it was last year when we moved up here and we got around all the new germs. The kids got sick once, and they were each sick for like a couple of days each, and then that was it. And new germs, new place, the stress of moving, all of that. But it was nice to be able to homeschool, because even when they're sick, and I know what their curriculum is, I know where they're at, and I can keep track of all of that. Whereas when they're sick from school, you're trying to figure out what the teacher's doing, and then you're trying to catch your kid up on that when they're spending a full day in school, and then coming home and trying to catch up on all their makeup work. And we just chip away at school all the time. So it's awesome. And every year, I don't know if I'm going to homeschool or public school. Every year, I can't make the decision until the last minute. It has been such a, because I don't have a support system, it's just me, it's all on my shoulders. I have my husband, it's us, it's both of us. But when it comes down to it, I'm the one who's here 24 hours a day running the household with the children, and it's on my shoulders. So that's daunting. But the fruits of my labor, I always think that I'm not capable of doing it, and my children prove me wrong every day with how much they're learning. And even if I'm not regurgitating all of the information to them, they're reading and they're taking in so much. They teach me so much because of how much they're learning. And then I always talk with them every day about what they're learning in their subject, so that I know what they're learning, especially my older kids that they're more independently learning now. I like to hear them recount to me what their studies were for the day. So today, for instance, my daughter in 6th grade was learning all about sound. So that was her unit study today. But yeah, this is just a few of the many textbooks, but we do bookwork, and I am waiting on textbooks for other subjects. We use Math UC for math for the younger grades, and then this year is the first year that we're doing an online math program with teaching textbooks, and it's an online program. And so far, today was our first day using that, and we don't have the textbooks yet, but we did the online portion with 3 of the kids, and it was really good. The kids enjoyed it. They liked it. They were resistant. They were like, Mom, we don't like online math. We want to do book math. And I was like, listen, I think this is going to be a great program. The homeschool program is doing it. You're going to have a teacher on Mondays go over all of your curriculum for the week, and then you do the lessons. And that takes a little bit of pressure off of me, and then I guide you through the lessons. I'm not the one having to teach the lesson to 4 different kids. I can just focus on teaching Annika her lesson, and then the big kids, I can just help them because they've been taught the lesson. I'm just there to aid them. So that helps a lot. And if you can find programs like that to help you alleviate, especially, for instance, I struggled with math. So for me to have a program to help teach my kids math is great, because that takes some of the pressure off of me, and then I can help them and I can check their work, and I'm not the one who's having to instruct it. So that's been great. And then the same thing with the science, and there's Discover history, discover geography, discover the same brand for all of the history curriculum. So, and it is the same thing. You'll have all of the written information, and then you'll have all of the bookwork assignments in there. And then it includes lab books, lab manual, teacher manual, or instructor's manual. And then you just have to have the lab supplies if you're doing that. Also with homeschool, for instance, American history is my 8th grader's history subject. His advisor said, you know, I think this is a year where you're just gonna have to YouTube a bunch of American history videos for him to watch, and that's how he's gonna be learning this year, because I was expressing how I'm stressed out about physical therapy. I'm going to start physical therapy in 2 weeks, and it's gonna be pretty rigorous to get all of my my back surgery stuff sorted and to get back. So I'm freaking out because I'm educating all these kids, and then I've got physical therapy going on and all of that. So my advisor helped me. Sorry, I'm having a hard time standing. She helped me to lessen my workload, and I had my kids doing so much stuff, and she said, whoa, you got a lot going on here. And I do. I had a lot going on with their school. So she simplified it. She's like, just do the online for XYZ and then this and that. And she helped me modify it and get it to where I wasn't stressed out and overwhelmed. So if you can have a homeschool advisor, that is great too. Ours is paid for by the state. We get $400 for the first half of the year and $400 for the second half of the year to use as our stipend towards curriculum, towards extracurricular activities, XYZ, all the things. So we have $800 total. Last year I used the stipend so my kids could do a mountain biking program for PE. So their physical education was, they got to go and mountain bike with coaches out on the trails, and twice a week for 6 weeks or whatever it was. And that's what I did under the guise of physical education, and the state or the school homeschool program with their funds from the state paid for it. So that's really cool. Not every state offers this. Oregon does, and that's one of the reasons why we've stayed in Oregon, because of their homeschool public school it's like a homeschool public school type program where the state pays for your child's education, essentially, part of it. So we still have to come out of pocket, especially for my 8th graders curriculum. We're coming out of pocket quite a bit for his stuff. Hi, everybody. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Anne. Hi, Nikki. Hello, Pamela. Your husband wouldn't eat the Azure pasta. It's too healthy tasting. Some of it is. You know what? And I need to compare. I got the small elbow macaroni, and those are amazing. But I'm concerned I got the wrong macaroni, because this is regular elbow macaroni. It's not the small elbow macaroni, and my small elbow macaroni is amazing. It's delicious, and I got it from Azure Standard, and it's the typical. It's not small like in the the Annie's or the Kraft. It's not that small, but it's just the small elbow macaroni that you would get in a bag if you were to make baked macaroni at home. It's that size. So, but Azure had it labeled small, and it did not have the healthy whole wheat flavor and texture. This, I think, is going to have the healthy whole wheat flavor and texture. I have not opened the bag yet. Let me finish filling this up, and then I'm going to open up this macaroni bag, and I'm going to fill up this jar with that. I haven't rested yet today, and my back is really starting to get tired, so I'm not sure how long I'll stay on this live or how much I'll get done, but I plan on hanging out for a little while and trying to get some of this done while I have a quiet home, because yeah, everybody's gone right now. The wasted ape. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said when the guy pulled the bag of pasta out of his car. That's exactly what I said. I was like, whoa, I don't think I ordered that much last time. That's a huge bag of pasta. But we're 7 people, and we can use a third of this per meal, or maybe even a little bit more than that, maybe closer to a half. So we can go through a lot of it. We can definitely use this bag up in a year. I didn't attempt to use the last bag up within a year. I'm not sure why. But this year I'm going to try to use it up because we need to not let it oxidize and lose its nutritional value. Okay. So this big bag, the rest of this is going to go in my giant pasta bucket because I do have a giant pasta bucket. It has my elbow macaroni in it. I also have ditalini. And tell me, comment if you've ever had this, ditalini. How do you make it? What do you add it to? Do you add it to soups? Or do you just make it like this with some Parmesan and some olive oil and salt and pepper on it? What do you do? Hi, Pamela. Yes, Azure, is your drop location really far away from you? Or is the Azure store distribution center, which is in Morrow, Oregon, that's far away from you? Or is the drop location? But you can organize a drop location in your community. So that's always an option too, if you want to be the coordinator, that is. Oh, Sherry, grinding grain is so easy. It's really not that big of a learning curve, especially if you use my bread recipe where I do half all-purpose and half fresh milled wheat. It's really easy. Oh, thank you. Oh, Katie, yeah, the drops can be tricky. We were fortunate that I had a few friends that were at the drop, so if I wasn't able to make it, they could pick up my stuff or I would pick up their stuff. And that worked out. Cool bacon, I can't help with homework. My brain is fried after helping my 4 kids with school all day. And actually, I have a child in 5th grade right now. I do have a child in 5th grade. So yes, I do teach 5th grade. I'm teaching this year, I'm teaching preschool through 8th grade, basically. Salted butter. I'm not sure, why do you baptize the dead? I don't know. I don't know much about, I grew up part Catholic and part non-denominational because my grandmother was Catholic, so we went to Catholic church with her. We went to mass, not church, we went to mass with my granny. And then my father was, he went to a non-denominational church. And then we also went to youth group down the road at a Baptist church. So that's my religious background. And I believe in the Bible. And there's some things that I don't believe. Like, some religions or some religious sects believe certain things that I don't necessarily believe or agree with. But it wasn't widely known that the Good and Beautiful was a Mormon curriculum until recently. A lot of people just did not know, or maybe they knew and they just weren't telling anybody, or maybe they were Mormon and not sharing that on social media. And there's nothing wrong with people's religious beliefs and what they choose. It's just a fact that if you're a Catholic, you might not want to use Mormon curriculum. So I have Catholic friends that once they found out that the Good and Beautiful was Mormon, they stopped using it. I don't mind using it because I don't see a lot of their belief system in the curriculum that I've used. So it doesn't bother me that much. And especially I'm just using it as a supplemental reading language arts curriculum for this year to save a little bit of money because I already had it and I didn't need to order anything else. I'm not sure how to, Dionysus. For the time of day, I sound chronologically sound for 3:45 in the afternoon. Well, I have my wits about me. Normally, you would hear 700 voices in this room echoing off the walls, and you would see me just like I was in shell shock because I'm trying to listen to everybody at once and my brain's processing all the emotions and needs and everything of everybody around me. So right now it's nice. I'm got a moment of peace. And when you're a mother, you're used to multitasking a million things at once and listening to everybody at once and keeping your head on a swivel. So it's easy to be of sound mind when it's silent. Matthew Garcia, kids need to be critical thinkers. I 1000% agree. I agree with you. Sherry, yes, my homeschool structure has drastically changed. The last homeschool program we were in, they were very uninvolved. And you can do homeschool in Oregon without any structure or program. It's one of the states that you can do that. I choose to have structure and a program and accountability for me to hold me accountable to make sure that I'm educating my kids to the best of my ability. That's important to me. So it really is awesome where we're at now. We have less stipend and we have less curriculum because the stipend down and where we were previously was $1,200 to $1,600 depending on if they were high school or elementary school. And then here it's $800 a year. So the stipend is less, but the stipend is less because they offer a full day of community day with teachers for every grade. And then they also have Monday virtual classes and Friday enrichment classes that you can go to campus for and do art, music, whatever. But you know, you got to travel to go do that. But yes, it's great. I really like it. Well, I mean, if you were to hear my 4-year-old, my 4.5-year-old engage in conversation with the older kids and how well spoken he is, I mean, he has a little bit of a funny accent. He and my 7-year-old, they still have like their little bit of baby talk accents, but not so much. But they're starting to, now that they're starting to read, now that they're starting to read, they are learning letter sounds and word sounds, and they're starting to realize like, oh, I've been saying this word wrong, my L's wrong all the time. And so it's neat to see them learning how to read and learning pronunciation and all that. But it's also neat because the older kids, just by nature of the older kids' knowledge and how the older kids talk, I mean, my 5th grader was reading science books to my 7-year-old and 4-year-old, and he was explaining wind and how wind is created and what influences wind and how wind shapes the earth. And he was reading them this book, and as he's reading it, he was explaining to them in greater detail. He would stop in his reading and say, oh, you know how this happens and that happens, and you know the hills and blah, blah, like, you know, how the wind erodes the dirt and shapes the earth, all this stuff. So he was explaining that to my younger children. And so my younger children were learning from him and gaining knowledge from him. So it's a beautiful thing when we can all exist together and learn. And that was something they did on their own. I did not prompt that at all. And that was a full-blown science lesson about wind that my 5th grader gave to my 2 younger kids. And I just sat back and listened in awe while I was cooking in the kitchen, just did not interfere at all. I'm not going to interfere with that. I just took it all in because I was learning too. And it was just neat to see. So homeschool can be really beneficial when you're schooling together as a family. Yeah, I think every mother worries about if they're doing enough for their children. And I certainly worry if I'm doing enough, and if I'm good enough, and if I'm kind enough, if I'm loving enough, if I'm giving them enough attention, guidance. I worry about all that. Teach tech. Where am I stay-at-home wife? Where are your stay-at-home wives? Too many feminists today. Guess keep my money to yourself. Yeah. I know so many working moms, and a lot of them, it's great, but I have a lot of working mom friends that feel this pressure to work and be an equal provider in their family, when what they really want to do, where their heart really is to be home with their children, homeschooling, but they feel this pressure from either their partners or from society that they have to work, that they have to produce. And I feel that too. I work from home. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I work from home, and I bring home an income. And I feel a pressure. I've always felt a pressure my whole life to produce and make an income and to earn. And I just wish that more women were able to just focus on their families and take care of their babies and homeschool if that's what they want to do, and be homemakers and grow the next generation. I think it's really important. And I see the fruits, like I said, I see the fruits of our labor. And one of the things I was hung up about sending our kids to school was I didn't want influences to destroy all of the hard work that we put into our children. I didn't want them to go and be surrounded by peers who maybe didn't have the same guidance that our children have had, that might influence them into all sorts of things like consumerist ideas, you know, like the next biggest toy. I have to have all of the nicest shoes, the nicest clothes, the nicest whatever. My homeschool kids right now don't care about any of that stuff. But it concerns me sending them to school that their worldview is going to change. And so to preserve that and to preserve their independence and their innocence and all those things, homeschooling is working out great for us. Sherry, yes. I try to remember that we're doing every single page in these workbooks. And when I was in school, I remember the teachers they would print out a page from a section and the whole class would do it. And we would have a worksheet, you know, every couple of days we'd have a worksheet. And we never did a whole textbook worth of stuff. They did get through a lot of information, but my kids are doing the whole textbooks. And then whatever we don't finish in the first year, because let me tell you, this is a lot. And this was, the 4A was a lot of science to get through last year. So even though he's in 5th grade, we're starting and we're gonna finish this by Christmas. And then we're gonna start 5A and start 5th grade science officially. But then when I looked at all the science curriculums, all of them are different, right? All of them are teaching different things at different grade levels, unless you stick to the public school standard stuff. But when you go and you look at all the different curriculums for the grades, you'll look at 5 different curriculums for 5th grade, and everyone is going to teach different stuff. So I don't worry too much about that. I just make sure that they're learning a variety of science that's important, that they're learning about the world, they're learning about their bodies, they're learning about everything. All the important things, all the science things. Louis, am I 29 years old? I'll give you a few more guesses. Katie, sometimes I feel like homeschool's not working for us. We're brand new into it this year, so things might change. I always leave the door open on the topic because, especially because I haven't started PT yet. I start that in another week and a half. Hopefully, if I'm cleared by my doctor, I can start PT. So that makes me nervous. Am I going to be able to keep up with everything? But my homeschool advisor reassures me that I need to relax. Everything's fine. They're learning enough. She has all adult children now that she homeschooled. And some of her children were very, very sick. They have chronic illnesses and they've got things that she had to deal with. And they've gone to college. Some of them have gone to college, some of them haven't. So that was reassuring to me just to hear her experience and how she got her kids through homeschool and what she did to prepare them for college and to write their transcripts and to do all that stuff. So I don't have any concerns as far as that stuff goes with homeschool. I think as long as you're having your kids do something every day, 5 days a week, in each subject, core subject, that you're chipping away at it and every day they're gaining knowledge. And then you can spend the rest of your day doing the things you love and that brings your heart joy. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, and the thing about our homeschool program that's been great is my kids already have a few friends. I've already met some moms that are awesome. And that's how we're building our community in a new town, is through the homeschool co-op. And just by nature of meeting this gives us an opportunity to be more intimate with our children's friends' families. So we're going to the drop-offs and pickups and the field trips and everything together, all the homeschool families, and we're meeting the parents at the same time we're meeting the children. So it's a good community. It's been great. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lori. Your son and his wife homeschooled 7 children, and you help a little here and there, and you really miss the days of homeschooling. Yeah, it's so nice. It's nice. And it's nice as my kids are going into their teen years, we have so much fun. And it's just awesome. Aaron, on his days off, he can take them mountain biking, and he gets to spend time with them on his days off, even though his days off coincide with school, but it works out because he can spend time with them, and the kids aren't at school all day and then coming home tired and grumpy in the evenings and only getting to spend time with their dad for an hour, a couple hours a week, you know. Homeschool allows us to be together more as a family. And everybody's learning. I mean, my 4-year-old, he's 4.5, and he amazes me with how much he's learning and how much he wants to be a part of what everybody else is doing. It advances him so much more to have his siblings around him all the time teaching him. Yes, we create our own support system. And that's one thing I talk to other mothers about, especially being a military spouse and having other still friends that are in the military, or young mothers that are their husbands are in the military. You're moving so frequently, every 4 years, sometimes every 3 years, sometimes every 6 or 8 years. And every time you move, you have to develop and find your community. And the only way to do that is if you go to library story times, and you go to MOPS, which is Mothers of Preschoolers, and you put yourself out there, and you find where the play dates are. You go to the churches that have play dates, and you just have to put yourself out there and find your people, because if you don't find your people, your motherhood's going to be so lonely. And it's hard. My motherhood is so lonely. It's been so lonely. Because I don't have that tribe of women around me. I don't have aunts and uncles and grandmas and sisters, and I don't have those people around me where we're at. Our tribe is just Aaron, I, and our children. So it's always been important for me to branch out and find my community. It's just hard because we have long-lasting relationships, and then we have to uproot and move away from them. And we're still friends from afar, but it's not the same as having a community that can come around and pull together and support when you need support, and to provide support when other people need support provided. Ooh. What am I gonna do? Put these in this thing. Where did it go? I had a little jar and I've misplaced it. It's a little jar with a gold top for the diddleini. So if you're just joining in, we're restocking the pantry, and I'm trying to behave. I'm trying not to lift or move wrong or do things I'm not supposed to do because of my spine surgery I had 4 weeks ago. If you're just joining in and you're wondering why I'm moving like a weirdo, it's because I'm getting in the end of the day and my back is getting tired. All right, y'all. If somebody could please, why? What's the secret? And how come it never works the first time? How come the string doesn't pull the first time every time? Oh man. I thought I was going to do an ASMR string pull, but it's foiled me. We'll see. Nope, that's not it. Oh, I got it. All right. Oh. Okay, this is diddleini. Itty bitty pastas. Hopefully we can fit this whole. This is 2.5 pounds of diddleini, and I got it for $7.06 for 2.5 pounds. Oh no. Oh no. I don't think it's gonna fit. You guys can't see what I'm doing here. Your oldest never went to school, but your other 3 did, Lori. How did that work out for you? It's nice not to have an IEP or team meeting to beg for things. Yes, because I did have a child in the public school system. Well, my oldest, this is why we homeschool, honestly. We had struggles. And when you have a child that struggles and you have them in the public school system and the public school system just leaves them in the dust, and it takes a year and a half to get an IEP, and they won't send homeschool work. They won't tell you what's in the curriculum. They won't provide you with the tools that you need to help your child at home. And I was an overwhelmed mom with babies. And I was like, can you just send home his schoolwork? And they're like, we don't send home homework. And I was like, well, he's not doing anything in school, apparently. You guys just let him read books the whole time, which is fine, but he's not learning math. He's not, he wants to read books and you say, fine, go read books. Because he didn't want to do the math or understand the math. He wasn't being helped, whatever. So he ended up needing an IEP. Well, then that was taking way too long. And I said, I'm just going to homeschool him, because if it's gotten to this point and it's going to get even worse, we're just going to homeschool. And now he's thriving. So it just works better because you can work at your child's pace. And so that child's on pace for all of his other subjects, but math, we're just a little bit behind in math, and that's fine. It's totally fine. He will have all the math he needs by the time he goes to college, if he chooses to go to college. What's mom could be science and psych? Oh yeah, they could study what they're, exactly. And we talk about emotions and all that kind of stuff all the time. And I talk to them about when I get frustrated and when I'm overwhelmed and when I'm feeling a certain way. And I tell them, hey, I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now. And I've asked you guys 5 times to go outside. Will you please go outside right now? I need you to go outside right now. I'm overwhelmed and I don't want to lose my cool. Exit the premises and go play, children. And then when you come back, we can talk about why I kicked you out of the house for an hour. I get overwhelmed. People get overwhelmed. Lori, I know one day I'm going to miss homeschooling and having my children here with me too. Dione says, you must admire a diligent mother. I know it's divided attention sometimes. I can't imagine how hard on occasion it is, but it's a duty of care exemplified and the great display of love. And that is so true. And it is difficult. It's even more difficult when they're younger and they don't quite understand as much. But I feel like I'm in a somewhat easy season with my kids ages 4 to 13. I feel like this is I'm sleeping through the night. They can all compromise. The 4-year-old's still learning to compromise, but they're all fairly reasonable, sort of. Of course, you get like the teenager who's like a young bull elk, and he's got the hormones raging and he's just running through the woods and he doesn't know what to do with himself. So we're starting to enter that, but it's a sweet spot. I feel like it's a sweet spot because all the kids are independent. They're all independent and for the most part, and I have some breathing room. It's been great. But motherhood is definitely, you feel like you're being pulled in every which direction. Hi, Darius. She about to cook? Sorry, I'm not cooking right now. Oh, my bad. I can't cook right now. Or I'm not cooking yet. I don't have anybody to cook for at the moment. I am putting the pantry food away. Sierra, you love the good and beautiful for homeschooling. Yes. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, what you refer to as Mormon, are definitely Christians. Thank you for clarification on that. I shouldn't speak on things that I don't know very much about. Uh-oh. I just saw a spam email come through that said I placed an order through Sheridan. I did not, but I need to check that probably. Buy orzo pasta. It's like a giant. Oh, yes, I love orzo. It's yummy. I like the texture. And I actually, when I was looking at the ditalini, I looked at the orzo too, and I was like, oh, which one do I want to get? And then I thought that this was like a fun texture also. So we went with ditalini. Lynn, thank you. I'm not sure about this specific pasta. I've seen people add it to chicken broths and things like that. And I figure it would be something simple. If my kids are sick through the winter, I could make them like a chicken noodle soup. And this could be the noodles I use in the soup. Just a fun little texture. But I've also seen people do like a garlic sauce with it, like a garlic butter. Hi, George. Thank you. Dion. God of wine, Greek mythology. You're from Europe. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on my live today. I can't say that. I know exactly what you're talking about, but now I'm trying to pronounce it correctly and I'm going to butcher it. I can't say your name correctly. I apologize. I'm going to Google it after this and have it pronounced for me so I can not butcher it any further. I'm not even going to try. My brain's mumble jumbled. The brainwashing, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Am I brainwashed or are you talking about the brainwashing? Of what? Of what, H. Wetzer? Hi, Jennifer. Thank you. God bless you too. Everybody's being nice so far. I've seen a couple of comments be taken away. I'm not sure. So far, everybody's being nice. I have not had to put it on subscribers only yet. Alicia, you don't have relatives around you either since you left Dallas and moved to Colorado. It's hard not to have your community. It is. It's tough. And when I had my family visiting, my sister-in-law, Aaron's sister came for a week, and then my brother came for a week post-surgery to help out, and it just warmed my heart to see them interacting with the kids and enjoying the kids and the kids enjoying their company, and how much love and knowledge and how much they poured into our children while they were here. And I think about, what if we had that all the time? What if we had that every week? What if we had that on a monthly basis? How much that would help shape our children into even better humans, just to have more people pour into them and love on them. And I think about that all the time. Oh, speaking of which, y'all, don't get on me about this, but my sister-in-law left some Alani's here, and I put 2 of them in the fridge because I wanted to know. I would not buy a case of these myself. I would not. But because I'm not an energy drink drinker, but she left these here and I hate to see them go to waste. So I put 2 in the fridge because I wanted to see what the hype is about. This is Sherbet Swirl. And it tastes like liquid sherbet. It does. It has a slight orange vanilla undertone. It does still have that kind of energy drink flavor to it. So I wouldn't buy these on the regular, but for an afternoon pick-me-up left by my sweet sister-in-law. Thank you so much, Aunt Jess, for this. Sherbet Swill, thank you for the sweet treat. She knew my mama heart would need one of these. My curiosity would get the best of me and I'd want to try them. So I've got this flavor, and then there's like a blueberry splash or a blue raz splash or something. It's some kind of blue slushy splash. I don't know. So those are the 2 that I have left over. I think she had cotton candy in this pack as well, and she drank all the cotton candies. But yeah, I would say for energy drinks, and I haven't drank energy drinks in years, but when I used to work in extreme sports, I would occasionally have access to Red Bull, and I would drink a Red Bull. And I would say that this tastes a little bit better than that. So, interesting. It's the face of somebody who doesn't drink carbonated drinks or flavored drinks very often. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Tommy. Teresa, the not twisting and bending was the hardest part. Yeah, and then I'm standing here. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I was trying to have the camera on the food products, and then I was kinking my body to the side. Terrible idea, because I keep having these searing, hot, twinging pains shoot through my back, and I'm like, oh, it like, whoa, jerks a knot in me. I'm like, oh, what was that? And so I need to just stand symmetrical, stand up straight and tall, and not do any kind of weird shifting of my weight on my feet, because my back is still very much healing, and it reminds me all the time. You were behind, Tommy, you were behind in math, but when you took upper secondary, you learned how easy it is. Yeah, and I think that's what it is. Once you, and I think my kiddo that was struggling with it, I think it's starting to click now, and he's starting to get it. I think at first, for some people, and for myself included, math was just, my brother said, it's just numbers. Why did you struggle with it? And I think for me, it was just the formulas. And it was the memorization of the formulas and having to do things in certain orders. And my ADHD brain just could not focus long enough to do things well enough. And I would get just totally discombobulated. But the funny thing is, I did terrible in math through all of my middle school, high school years. And then I took the college placement test. And even though I barely passed high school math, I mean, they just pushed me through, right? I took the college placement test, and I tested straight into statistics. I could take statistics or whatever the college level calculus, I think was the other one. And calculus scared me. And so I was like, well, I'll just take statistics. But I was amazed that I didn't have to take any remedial math courses. And I selected answers based on my best guess. I didn't actually know how to do any of the math. I just did the best I could and picked the best answer, and somehow scored so phenomenally well on the placement test. I mean, I might as well say I Christmas treated. I didn't, but I picked the best answers for math I didn't know how to do, and did well enough to do statistics. And then I was doing statistics, and I barely passed that course because I didn't have good foundational math skills. But I was able to get my associate's degree in college, and I still need to go back and get my bachelor's, but I'm not hard pressed to do that. I'm thinking about going into nursing. So maybe like hospice, or probably something like that, hospice nursing, or in-home care type stuff. I was a trained midwife's assistant previously, and I am a doula, a birth and postpartum doula. But I haven't been working for about the last year. I did some postpartum work, but I'm not doing on-call birth work right now. And I haven't done postpartum work since I moved, because all my clients are back home, and I haven't reestablished my business here. Staying off grid, I don't know what your problem is, but clearly you're in the wrong place. You have a bag of orzo, Teresa, and you need to figure out something to make with it. Any good ideas? Pasta salads are good with orzo. You can use it in pasta salads, like a little Greek pasta salad. Do some finely crumbled feta, do some like small diced tomatoes, small diced peppers, small red onions, some balsamic vinaigrette or Italian vinaigrette. Mix it all together and make like a little Greek orzo pasta. That would be yummy. Tommy, you're Finnish. Fantastic, Safar. From where you are. Are you asking where do I live? We're in the Pacific Northwest. Hi, Alexander. We're discussing, well, first, we are restocking my pantry, and we're restocking it with pastas and items that I got from Azure Standard. I've got some olive oil back there, some dish soap. But we were talking about homeschool. We went from prepper pantry to homeschool stuff. No, fantastic, Safar. I'm not doing an advertisement. I'm just restocking my pantry with food. If I have a man, teach him about Freemasonry. We know a little bit about the Freemasons. And I've got some boys. My boys probably need to study the Freemasons too. And I actually have a few friends who are Freemasons. I haven't talked to them in 20 years. They're like motocross buddies. But they live in the Maryland, D.C. area and are Freemasons. Yeah, the Alanis, the people drinking the Alanis. It's become a minor obsession in the consumerist world, kind of like Stanley Cups and all that stuff. People just are totally out of their mind obsessed with it. But yeah, not something I would buy, but I'll try. Ooh, I need to do a whole series of I won't buy, but I'll try things. There's also some Diet Pepsi or something here. And what else do we have? Some other random stuff. I'm sure over the years we'll end up with some random things that I won't buy, but I'll try. Yeah, the Alanis aren't bad tasting. They're not bad tasting, but I wouldn't go out of my way to drink them. Hi, Mike. I hope you're having a wonderful day too. Tommy, you learned formulas? Yes, memorizing formulas. And if you don't have parents that care about your education, it's hard to care about your own education. My parents were like, you can be whatever you want to be. You don't have to go to college. You can be whatever you want to be with zero direction, zero guidance, zero anything. So look at me now. This is what I turned out to be. This is what no guidance gets you. This is what childhood neglect gets you. Yes, Teresa. I was on the path to going into midwifery, but I kept having babies and kept moving. And I knew that we were going to be moving, so I didn't start the midwifery program in the last town we lived in when it was offered to me by the midwives in that area. When they were looking to mentor and train midwives, and I didn't because I had little babies and I was like, I don't have enough of a support system to do this right now. So being a midwife assistant was the next best thing. And then I was just on call and that worked out and I wasn't responsible. I mean, I was responsible, but I wasn't the primary person. So it worked out. Being a midwife's assistant was awesome. I learned a lot. I have a needle phobia and I learned how to give IVs and all that kind of stuff. So it helped me a lot. It helped me grow as a person. The green pasta salad. Ooh, yeah. I would get on Pinterest and look up pasta, like orzo pasta salads and find recipes there. I say that and I should take my own advice because I never look up recipes. Nam, what is my channel about? Well, my channel is about my motherhood. I'm a mom to 5 kids. I used to be an extreme sports athlete, and now I'm a mom to 5 kids, and I battle autoimmune disease and chronic pain. So a lot of my channel is about cooking for my family and how we live our lives, how we try to increase our health wealth and be healthier people and live long, healthy lives. It's kind of what my channel, it's all encompassing. It's lifestyle. Healthy living, lifestyle, gardening, prepping, cooking. Holistic, here, I'll just give you the spiel. Holistic, lifestyle, and parenting. That's always been my jam for the last 13 years. It's like holistic lifestyle and parenting content. Faith, thank you so much. You were so sweet. Eugene, that is my brother's name, who raised me. He took me under his wing. So anybody named Eugene, well, that's his middle name, but anybody named Eugene gets a check plus in my book. Hi, Faith. Gummy bear, I don't know what that means. I would have to look up Coco from Isna, and hopefully it's not something terrible. Thankfully, am I into astrology? What's my sun and moon and rising? Oh, I can't remember it, but you know what? 23 years ago, somebody did that for me. And this was 23 years ago when I didn't know my path in life and I was floundering. I was trying to figure out what am I going to do? And this person did my astrology, sun, moon, rising, all that stuff. And what she came up with was that I was going to be a traveler and I was going to be unsettled in my life and all this kind of stuff. And that's what happened. Because I married somebody that's in the military and we've traveled a bunch and lived in different places and we are unsettled. Currently we're still unsettled. So I'm not sure. I am a Libra. I don't know if that tells you anything. And I have no idea at this point. Back then I knew what time of day my mom was alive. So I asked her, hey mom, when was I born? And I don't remember any of that information. There was a lot going on 23 years ago, let me tell you. I don't remember a lot from those days. But Joshua, is that your son's middle name? Is Eugene? Thank you, Travel with Nature and Food. This is my, this is a new shirt actually that I just got for this season because I didn't buy winter clothes last year. I was under the impression we were probably gonna live somewhere much warmer, but fall is already happening. Our summers here are very short. Even though today was a 95-degree day, our evenings are down in the 40s. So our nights are down in the 40s, so we're already experiencing cool weather. And so I got this cotton flannel to layer up and to wear underneath the sweaters, and it's a thick cotton, and I really like it. It's really cozy. I got it from backcountry.com because they just had a huge Labor Day sale, and you were able to stack 20% on their clearance items, y'all. That's how I shop. If I'm gonna buy something new, not thrifted, I will buy it when it's on clearance, and I can stack a sale. And then I get the best deals. And that's how we do a lot of thrifting too, which reminds me, when I go back down south, we're headed down south to the town we used to live in, and I have a credit to a kids consignment store that I have to pick up and use, or I have to get the cash it out. So I have to go by there and take care of that. I'll probably just load up on kids clothes and use the whole credit that I have, and load up on kids clothes while I'm down there and use that up. Thank you, Dancing Lobster. It's his family name, his great-grandfather's name. It's my brother's family name. My oldest brother has a different father than me, but it's in his family of names too. And then I named my youngest, his middle name is William, after my brother whose middle name's Eugene. His first name is William Eugene, or his name is William Eugene. And then my son's name is Bodie Lee William, after my brother, after two of my brothers and my grandfather. Two of my brothers. If I could have named, I probably could have named him after all of my brothers, actually. I have 4 brothers. Yes, so that's what we are doing here, guys. We are, and I'm not sure how much more I'm gonna do. Oh, we've got to do the macaroni. I'm gonna go grab my bucket real quick. We'll be right back. Hey, son. How's it going? You're bored? Okay, reading sounds good. That's what happens when you're an only child. You get bored. It gets boring as an only child. What? Oh, you're gonna get on here and watch the live. Okay, so earlier, thank you so much, Gerald. Earlier, Sherry, was it you, Sherry, that was saying your husband doesn't like the texture or the, so I don't know if this is still the case, but Azure used to have like the white flour macaroni. So this isn't the wheat kind. All right, so this is my old bag. This is my small elbow macaroni, and this was a 10-pound bag. Hold on, you guys want to see this, don't you? Thank you so much, Gerald. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So kind. I can use that towards getting my kiddos some ice cream. I used to live in the UK. But that's not a pound sign. What is that, European? The euro? You guys, I still can't believe I had spine surgery 4 weeks ago and how great I'm doing. I mean, I know I have a long recovery, but this is, I just can't believe that doing this well. I for sure did not think that I would be on my feet this much every day at this point, but I am. All right, y'all are white people food. We put cheese on it. Come on. We douse it in butter and cheese and salt and pepper and seasonings and make a roux, and it's delicious. But white people food, yeah. White people food. Let me hide that comment again. I don't know if that's like YouTube's considering it racist. I'm not offended. You can't really, I mean, I'm not going to challenge anybody to offend me. Please don't. But I have thicker skin. All right, now you can tell the difference between, this is the ditalini. This is going to be a whole wheat pasta. The small elbow macaroni, this is not a whole wheat pasta. So I'm not sure, I'm just not sure here what we're going to do about that. And then my extra, both of my extra bags of pasta are going to go in this bucket. So we use 5-gallon buckets to store a lot of our food just to keep it safe from pests, and we use Gamma Seal lids. The Gamma Seal lids have a rubber gasket, so no bugs, no air. Well, there's air in there unless you put unless you put a Mylar bag and an oxygen absorber and seal it and then put this on. There's air in there, but it keeps moisture, pests out. So if this bucket gets caught in a flood and you find it downriver somewhere, check it out because it might have some free food in it for you. My son just found the iPad and just showed me the live. You know the rule about that. No watching mom when mom's around. Mom doesn't like to see herself. We never ever go back. I don't ever watch my videos, but my family does. They're just not allowed to watch them when I'm around because I'm too self-critical. So, all right, pasta. Ooh, we got one more thing of pasta to do. So I wanted to compare the pastas in this bag. Okay, so this is whole wheat. So this is going to be a different texture. This is not going to be the nice texture of the small elbows. So these are the small elbows, and you can see the difference in. So Azure Roni Gourmet Pasta is going to be the wheat, more healthy tasting pasta. Okay. Oof. I was thinking that I was going to put that pasta in a container, but I'm not gonna do that yet. I am gonna put it in something because I need to, ooh, that sound. I need to sort it. We need to get it sorted. All right, if you do that, oops. You shake your pastas, if you shake your grains and stuff, you'll get more room in there. And get a little bit more in there. All right, now this last little bit, we should have a pint jar somewhere. Not a pint, a quart jar. That last bit. So instead of getting spaghetti, which we have some spaghetti from Costco, I got a bulk pack of spaghetti from there, but we go through it pretty quickly. But instead of getting spaghetti or anything else, we're just gonna use through some of these pastas for now, but got pasta because if it hits the fan, the food prices as they continue to hit the fan. I noticed that in the last year, Azure hasn't changed their prices on their food, but I do notice different things in the stores are fluctuating in their prices. So I like that I can buy these things at a set price and have it for a year or two and not be paying the inflated prices that are coming out. So it's been, hey, can you turn that down and go somewhere else? Because I'm hearing myself delayed in the background because he's watching my live. Yes. Spaghetti bolognese. Oh, you can tell I'm a bad wife. Ugh. Stop being rude. Who? Travel with nature. It's 5 a.m. You're feeling hungry. Yeah, well, if you're hungry, you'll eat whatever you're served. Yeah, we do spaghetti bolognese, and I actually have a bunch of sauce. We are meat eaters around here, so our spaghetti does get meat sauce. And for those of you that don't know, in the United States, bolognese is meat sauce. And they call it that in European countries. Here we call it spaghetti and spaghetti sauce. But everywhere else, if you're proper, you call it bolognese. So I'm gonna dump this bag into this bucket, straight up. That's the only way it'll fit in there. And I've had this kind of macaroni before. I think we bought it in a 10 or a 5-pound bag at one point. And I didn't want to get it again, but mom brain, I thought I was ordering this, and I wasn't. So make sure you pay attention when you place your orders. Okay, so we've got pasta. And then this bucket will go away into the pantry on the bottom, back in the corner, because I don't need to access it again for a long time. And I'm going to get somebody else to pick it up because now it's heavy. Now I cannot pick that bucket up. Okay, and I can't pick this up either. This is too heavy for me to pick up with my spine the way it is. So someone else is going to put this on the pantry shelf for me. We are going to use up these pastas first before we get into the bucket of pasta. FIFO, first in, first out, when you're rotating through your food stores. Okay, now I just have a little bit of this pasta to put in a container. And I'm hoping that this will be enough. And if you use jars like this, if you do a lot of canning, then you know the dilemma of storing all the jars. And it's nice, my cabinet, my cup cabinet or my jar cabinet, we use these as cups as we open up the jams and jellies, and then we wash the jars, and then they go into our cup cabinet, and when I get overwhelmed, I then store them in a different location. But we're starting to get too many jars because we've been going through some jams and jellies, and we're starting to get too many jars. So this is just perfect use to get rid of some of these jars. And I need to go and get some rings from where I store all of my jars and lids and rings, but for now we'll just do this. And then this will be, next time I make macaroni and cheese, I'll use these. And we'll go through these 2 jars first. FIFO. And then these are gonna go in the pantry. If you guys are still hanging out here, double tap your screen. All right, the last thing we have, and I'm not even gonna mess, I might mess with this, we'll see. Oh. This bucket's empty right now. But it needs this 25-pound bag of flour in it. I'm not gonna do that. But when Aaron and the kids get home, my big 13-year-old, he can help me dump that bag of flour into here. So there's just some things that I can't do, and I probably won't be able to do for the next 6 months. Lifting anything more than 10 pounds is one of those things. And I've already lifted some stuff today that's a little bit more than 10 pounds. So we're gonna chill now. we're gonna chill. This is the extra virgin olive oil. We buy it in a gallon. This might be, I need to compare with the prices at Costco and a couple other places, but this is organic, extra virgin, cold pressed. So it's not heated, it's just cold pressed. And it was $50.13 for this. And this will last us between 3 and 6 months, just depends on how much sometimes we use a lot, sometimes we don't. But I do use it to bake bread. And I don't know if that's recommended, but that's how I use my olive oil. Bacon bread and salad dressings, things of that nature. We can use it on our pastas with salt and pepper and some Parmesan, yummy. Quick and easy meal or quick and easy snack for the kids. Something to fill their bellies. What am I cooking? I should put butter noodles. I should make butter noodles. Yeah, maybe. My kids are coming home tonight from mountain biking and they had pancakes for breakfast and then they had a whole bunch of eggs and bread for lunch and they've had fruit in between. And so this evening I'm thinking maybe I'll carb load them with some pasta. Quick and easy. Have I tried intermittent fasted? Nam Rafni. Yes, because I naturally, it is my habit to intermittent fast. So that's just how I live my life. I've got digestive problems. My pancreas is not cool anymore. My pancreas is an issue. It's a sick pancreas. So I intermittent fast just by nature of preserving my pancreas. So, and to avoid being in chronic, constant pancreas pain. But yes, intermittent fasting. My husband, he's different than me. He tries all these diets and he's very strict when he does them. But I'm naturally by my nature an intermittent faster. I will eat 1 to 2 meals a day and then I won't eat for a very long time. I go very long periods of time between meals. Thank you, Travel with Nature and Food. You like the hair, how my hair is tied. Keeps it out of the way. When it's in a braid, it looks a lot shorter, but my hair is way, way long, very long. It grows super fast. A 15-gallon water change out of your fish tank. Stutes drums. That's a lot of work. We had a fish tank and I don't even know what size the fish tank was. You probably know more than me, but it was, the standard rectangle fish tank. And we had that for about 6 months and I sold it because somebody else had it before us and they gave it to, I didn't sell it, I gave it away. They gave it to us and then we had it for a while and the cleaning and the maintenance and all the thing with 5 kids, I can't do pets. So I gave it away to someone else and now someone else has a fish tank. But that's a lot of work to maintain fish tanks and to keep the fish happy and the water clean and all that stuff. That's a lot of work. So admirable work. Take good care of your fish. All right, y'all. And the last thing I have is, I shared this in my Azure haul in my last video, but I get their unscented dish soap, fragrance-free. And I get their fragrance-free laundry detergent, their fragrance-free bathroom cleaner. Well, actually, sometimes I get the citrus scented bathroom cleaner, just because that's nice in the bathroom, especially with boys. But it works really well at cutting any kind of nasties in the bathroom. And then this is the best, not the best. I just really like this dish soap because it doesn't leave, I don't like the way Dawn or any of those smell. So, and for $20, $19.36, you get a whopping gallon. And that's a steal because you're paying, what, $7 for a little 6 to 8 ounce, 10 ounce thing of soap. I'm not sure how much soap costs because I've been buying it from Azure for so long. Christ is King, yes and amen. Trad Pepe. All right, y'all. That is homeschool and prepping in my house. And I've got to start putting some of these things away, so I might attempt to carefully... Hello, Strawberry. Hello, hello. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. We've just been restocking our pantry with all of the delicious pastas for my family. because food's expensive and we're trying to stretch food. We're trying to stretch the meat and the lentils and the beans and all the things. And so my recent Azure haul was pasta in all-purpose flour. Hey, Torsten. What you doing, bud?
This is dead. This is dead. I'm going to use the drum head. No, it doesn't want me to.
My kids, one kid will stay home with me on occasion, and it's usually because they know that they can have uninterrupted quiet screen time, and that's not something that they ever get. We limit screen time a lot in this house, but when I just have one kid here with me, I'm like, they can either hang out with me, which is what we do sometimes. Last week he was home alone with me. We had milkshakes and yummy stuff and hung out for a little bit, and that's when he was like, is this what it's like to be an only child? He was sad and lonely. But today he's staying busy. He practiced guitar for a little bit. Strawberry, did you ask a question that I missed? As long as it's not rude or vulgar. What was your question? I don't see a question, but you can ask a question as long as it's not inappropriate. This is a wholesome content channel. We're wholesome around here. Yeah, ask away. I love answering questions as long as they're appropriate. Hi, Riker. What are you? Oh, it's you, Torsten. How are you on Riker's? Oh, my kid's on here again.
I'm on the drum head. Riker's account.
Can you not get enough of your mother in real life? You have to watch her on her live, too.
Yeah.
I love my children. They're such cuties. Sweethearts. All right, if your friend told you to give you food, and if you didn't, they would tell you their crush, would you consider them a bad friend? Are we in elementary school here? So, and if you didn't, they would tell you their crush? Well, I'm a nosy Nelly, so I wouldn't give them my food so that they'd tell me their crush. Are you saying if you give them food, they'll tell you their crush? You're their crush, clearly, Strawberry. Oh, the whole class. Oh, they'll tell the whole class your crush. Well, that's not a friend. If your friend is already bribing or blackmailing you or whatever that is, that's not a true friend. And if your friend's hungry, give them some food. That's the other part to that. We don't want our friends to go hungry. But also, you can't pour from an empty cup. So make sure that you're feeding yourself and taking care of yourself so that you can be there for your friends and family. But if your friend is threatening something like that, that's not a true friend, and you need to go find yourself some better friends. That happened to your friend? I'm sorry. Yeah, injustice is mean. Yeah. I look like Bang Chan from Stray Kids. I gotta write this down because now I'm curious. And Bang Chan. If I type in Bang Chan, is something inappropriate going to come up? I don't know who Bang Chan is, but I'm going to look this up after my live because now I'm curious. Whew, walking is difficult these days. Bang Chan, huh? My son started reading a book today, and he is reading chapter 1 of the book, When the Sea Came Alive, and it's about storming the beaches of Normandy. Aaron's great uncle stormed the beaches of Normandy and lived to a ripe old age. Very traumatized from that experience. But our neighbor gave us a book to read, and my son is studying American history, early American history, and so his assignment was that, and he had to read the first chapter, and then someone was asking about homeschool earlier. He had to read the first chapter, and then I told him just to write a brief summary about the chapter in 1 or 2 sentences. And when his dad came home, his dad had him elaborate on this, but he said people are just talking about what happens almost every day, like bombings and burning buildings. So in the first chapter of his book, he's talking about what's happening before the beaches of Normandy were stormed. So Homeschool, it's a good book too. And then my daughter is currently reading, let me tell you the book she's reading, because it's a cool book too. It's The Gunner, I think. And it's, I don't know where it is. She must have taken it. She might have taken it with her. But the book that she's reading right now is called The Gunner. And I'm not sure who it's about, but it's another war story book. And they're very into the world wars. They're into it. You're not in elementary. Are you middle school, high school? Just curious. I'm really sorry that your friend did that to you, Strawberry, because that's just not nice. And if I were to give the advice to my own children, if somebody did that to them, I would say, son or daughter, that doesn't sound like that person is a very good friend to you. But you can give them grace and keep being their friend. But if it were me, I would distance myself from that person and realize that they're not a trustworthy person that I can trust with my secrets. That's a very immature thing for somebody to do. And I'm sorry that happened. That's awful. My kid is agreeing with me. Yes. Yes, that's right, Torsten, right? We're not going to be friends or be close with people that bribe us, or not bribe, but say things like that and do things like that. I'll be right back.
The kids took them out there. Mother kids took them out there.
Oops, the house is starting to warm up. I have this blind open over here. I gotta shut it because the sun's coming in and making the house hot. Ooh, but it brightens it up. It diffuses the light a little bit more and brightens it up in here. It's about time for me to go lay down because I need to lay down for about an hour before we prepare dinner. So it's 4:48. Practice starts at 5. They have practice from 5 to 7. What's wrong with my ankle? It's not my ankle. I had spine surgery 4 weeks ago. I had a laminectomy and a discectomy of my spine. I'll show it to you. You want to see? You see that scar? I had spine surgery and they decompressed my crushed nerves. I had nerves at L5 that were being crushed by spinal stenosis and a bulging disc combined. And so they had to open up my spine, take out bone, cut away some disc, and take all of the pressure off of those nerves that were being crushed because I was struggling to walk. I was having a hard time walking, driving, and living my life. What was that veggie pasta? The veggie pasta was orzo. You take orzo pasta. Oh wait, which veggie pasta? Are you talking about the tri-colored rotini? Tri-colored rotini. This is vegetable pasta with spinach and tomato. Spinach powder and tomato powder in that. And then the orzo pasta or pasta salad, you do tomatoes, red peppers, green peppers, you can put olives in it, feta cheese crumbled up, Italian dressing, cucumbers, whatever vegetables you want to put it. Just dice them really small and then mix them in with the salad and some feta cheese or goat cheese or whatever kind of cheese you like. Mix it up and you got yourself a delicious little pasta salad. Yes, Soli, I am so glad I can still move around as well. God is good. I mean, I don't have the best mobility and I'm definitely still in some pain with movement, and I'm not moving fast by any means, and I cannot walk fast. So when I go on my walks and when my family walks with me, I'm walking very slow. I can go about 10 steps and I have to stop and rest my back. My back gets really tired. I can go about 10 to 20 more steps and stop and rest. And it's a process. I have a long road to heal ahead of me, but I'm up for the challenge because I know once I'm healed, I won't have that nerve pain and I'll be able to enjoy my family and I'll be able to mountain bike and hike and do all the things that I love to do, hopefully. Your dad looked like he had an alien egg on his back and had it removed, but his back was very delicate. Your spine is very delicate. Yes, it's very, mine is very delicate. I'm pushing it to the limit though, because I'm a mom with 5 kids. And if I don't get up and do things every day, the house is gonna burn down. So I've been pushing myself to the limit because that's just the nature of being a mother. I don't have people waiting on me hand and foot and I've got to take care of my family. So I am delicate, very delicate. Looks can be deceiving though, because I move around and in my videos I'm walking around, but I'm not able to do a lot of movements. I'm not able to pick up more than 10 pounds. I believe in Jesus. What brand is my microwave? It's a Whirlpool. What's my favorite airliner? What is it, a C-15 or C-17? Military craft that I got to ride in the front with the pilots with my 1-year-old daughter, and we got to do a takeoff and a landing. I can't remember if it was a C-15 or a C-17. It was a long time ago. My husband would tell me. He remembers. I'm a Jesus believer. My son Torsten's asking, what's my favorite food? Pizza, but I can't eat it. What's my favorite color? Purple or red or green? Jedi burrito. What's my favorite cheese? Goat cheese, because I'm not supposed to eat cow dairy. Ma'am, I hope you believe in Jesus. I do. Jesus has blessed us. God has blessed us so much. He has provided when we didn't know where provisions were going to come from, but we stayed faithful and he has always provided. What's my favorite everything? You're my favorite everything, Torsten. You and your siblings. You're the best. I love you. You're lactose intolerant. Well, have you tried goat's milk and goat's cheeses? Because people that can't tolerate cow dairy proteins can often tolerate goat milk proteins because they're smaller in size and more easily digestible by humans because it's closest to human milk. I'm already married. I just don't have a ring on. Oh, which reminds me, I need to put it on. I can't remember if it's 13 or 14 or 15 years. It's probably 14 or 15 years. I think last year was, I don't know. I think we're coming up on 15 years married, you guys. But we've known each other since we were about 8 or 9 years old. I sound like a teacher. I'm a homeschool mother to 5 children. Gun or knife? Gun or knife? For what? Well, if it has to do with cooking, I gotta kill it before I can eat it. You need both. You need a gun and a knife. But I guess if you're like the guy from Alone, have you seen Alone? This man jumps on the back of a, what was it, Torsten? What does he jump? The stinky muskox. He jumps on the back of a muskox and stabs it and kills it. And then he eats the muskox and he wins the Alone challenge and the $1 million and whatever. So a knife, because you can kill and then slaughter your animal or butcher it, cut it up, and then prepare it to eat. So probably a knife. Lactose is milk sugar. Oh, so you gotta remove the milk sugar. It's not the protein in it. I know that the whey is the protein, but the proteins in milk. So a lot of babies cannot tolerate mother's milk if the mother eats cow dairy because the proteins get into her milk, and the proteins are too big for babies to digest, so they spit up, they have acid reflux, and if a mother does not eat dairy, her baby will not spit up. Ask me how I know. Yes, the protein is casein, and the protein is too big for a lot of people to digest. My necklaces, these are my late mother's, 2 of my late mother's gold chains. So they used to have, one of them used to have a pendant on it, but I took the pendant off just because I wanted to wear the chains, but they belonged to my mother who passed away when I was 20. It's been 22 years since I've seen that woman. And this is her stone is in my engagement ring. My mother's stone that was in a ring that she wore. I had it put in there. Thank you, Taco Belly. She was quite the woman, and we all miss her dearly. She was the life of the party. The life of the party. She kept us all together. She kept it all together. And it's weird. It's weird when the matriarch of the family passes away and then everybody is left to try to keep it together. I left. I didn't stay. But I wish I was back near my family because I'd love to have big holiday dinners and all that kind of stuff. Moms are the glue, totally. And I wish that I lived near my whole family because I would love to be the person to host and take some of that burden off my father, who tends to be the host at holidays. But I would say, hey, let me be the hostess. And if I lived near family, for my sister-in-law and my father-in-law too, I'd say, hey, let me be the hostess. You guys have been doing it all these years. So it's your time to put your feet up and, you know, let me throw the party. I want to throw the party. I'm not cooking anything, Nino. We are, yes, Torsten, God is good. Nino, it's Riker Storm, but it's my son, Torsten. We are restocking the pantry. I got a big bulk order of pastas and flours and things like that. So we're just restocking. I think tonight's going to be an easy night for dinner. I'm not sure what. Usually when my husband's heading home from mountain biking with the kids, he'll text me and let me know that they're on their way home, and I'll say, have you guys eaten? Because sometimes he'll take them to grab something to eat out, or I'll just prepare something quick and easy for when they get home. Yes, Jesus was a prophet. Thank you so much, Nino. I appreciate that. Thank you. Nice to meet you too. Yes, this channel is all about holistic homemaking, lifestyle, and parenting in the Pacific Northwest. I used to be an extreme sports athlete, but now I'm just an extreme mother. I went from extreme sports to extreme motherhood, and I do all the crazy things in motherhood, all the crazy stuff. So, yes, that's what we try to do on this channel. Just share about all the fun things that have to do with raising a family and our lifestyle. We live in the Pacific Northwest, and that is much different from where we grew up on the East Coast. The lifestyle is different, but you can find this lifestyle in all areas of the world. We're just an outdoorsy family. Yes, extreme sports like downhill mountain biking and cross-country mountain biking and snowboarding. I used to do long-distance trail running. But yeah, motocross and downhill and mountain biking were and long distance running and snowboarding. Those were, and skateboarding. Gosh, I keep forgetting about my roots. I started out skateboarding when I was 12 years old. Yes. Hi, Allie Roo. I'm feeling great. Well, that's relative. I'm feeling like I just had spine surgery 4 weeks ago. And I'm still recovering. So I'm used to smiling through pain and exhaustion. So my back's getting pretty tired. It's about time for me to go lay down. Oh, water sports like wakeboarding. Yes, I used to wakeboard. Wakeboard, skateboard, snowboard, motocross. Those were my jams. I can wakeboard. I just can't do that kind of stuff right now. Oh, I don't look like the extreme sports type anymore. I hear ya. I used to jump a dirt bike through the air on a closed course motocross track. A CRF 254 stroke is what I used to wear. Full-blown race gear. I also used to operate heavy equipment, and people don't believe that either. But I was in excavation and construction and landscaping and did all the things. So I went from extreme sports and extreme employment to extreme motherhood is what I say. Because I worked with an excavation company that did excavating so that they could build motocross tracks. And so it was a bunch of people around my age, a bunch of guys, and we were living it up back in those days. We were popping wheelies and running heavy equipment and riding dirt bikes and mountain bikes and having a good time. But I injured myself quite a bit doing all that. So that is why. Do I still ride? I don't ride motocross anymore. I sold my bike 10 years ago. And I can't, because of my back. I just had back surgery. I'm not even supposed to ride mountain bikes anymore, but that's to be determined. We are going to be riding some mountain bikes. One way or the other. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get really strong and I'm going to get back on my mountain bike. But my husband has discovered mountain biking and he's got a love for mountain biking. And he is getting my bike set up for him so that he can ride my new bike. Because I'm not going to be able to ride my bike for at least a year. So he's going to be riding my bike. I don't have any pets. I'm not a pet person. My mother and granny had puppy mills and they hoarded animals and I'm not about that life. So I like other people's pets in moderation, but I don't want to own any pets. I've got 5 kids. So the family wants a dog. Not happening. Not on my watch. Hi, Abdel. There's lots of families, if you get involved in a program, that will host you. We don't have the space to do that, and we rent a house, so we're not allowed to. But I do. My husband's calling. All right. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We got the pantry restocked. And I'll see you guys in the next live.